Good morning and welcome to another episode of Coco in the Sun podcast. I am your host, Malika Critchlow. So happy to be here today. So this morning as I was walking the dog, I was like, okay, I think maybe I need to, how they put on other YouTube videos, they put like what each section is. Because I was like, maybe people don't like the insights. Maybe I should do the insights in a separate video. I supposed to do it before or after. And then I was like, why don't I just do the insights how I'm doing it, but put like what's going on in each part of the video. So I'll have like personal insights in this section, and then I'll have the other section that says the actual book reading so that you can go to the section that you really care about. The audience can go to the section that they really care about. They're not don't want to hear my personal babble. um, so I am really happy to do a podcast today. I was thinking about doing it yesterday, and then I was like, I got distracted doing other stuff. But I've been learning stuff and understanding. I'm always surprised when I get like a new understanding, and they always come from different ways. They come in different ways. It's just so cool, but it's always right for what I want or what I need to know. I don't even really sometimes know what I need to know. So I think that right now, like my discernment seems to be coming in. And I can't look at as many videos as I used to, or the type of videos that I used to. Or I might be able to look at a certain video from one creator, but I can't look at all their other videos. So it feels like everything really is specified to what I need to know based on what I can tolerate. It's really kind of cool how it's all appearing to work out. Um, so yeah. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to label the different sections of the video. It's probably just be two sections: personal insights and the actual reading. And things that I want to share today. So before I did the video, I was like, maybe I should write out what I want to share. But then I'm like, I don't really enjoy that. And as soon as I was trying to think of what to talk about and write it down, it came out of my head. Like I couldn't remember. But like if I'm just like free balling, um, just like following my vibes, the thoughts of what to talk about come easier. So I don't know. I think today I want to wish for everyone, if it's for their highest good and the highest good of all, and if they're open to it, to experience unconditional love in the best way for them, with the assistance of their guides and their teachers and their um ancestors associated with them in the best way for them to learn about it. Because I feel like it was so pivotal and still is so pivotal to my development. Um, I always say like it seems like my development is going through self-love, which expands to love for all. So the more I'm able to love and accept myself and forgive myself and understand myself, the more I'm able to love others, forgive others, accept others, and understand others. But this does not mean that my discernment doesn't come in. So I do have discernment on situations that are best for my development and situations that hopefully with time will make me feel I'll have less, it will affect me less. But right now, for my development, aren't good for me and my growth and my expansion in love. These situations, if I'm in them too much, could make me regress or feel small. So while I don't judge those people in that aspect or that frequency, because I've been in that frequency, if not in this lifetime, in another lifetime, I don't enjoy engaging in that way. And I'm not one that ascribes to being uncomfortable helps you grow. I am more of the, I believe more in the thought process of I grow where I find joy and love and laughter. And that's the way I choose to develop in this lifetime. And that's because for the past, my entire life, I've been in situations where I have had to deal with um situations that didn't feel good. So I want this section to feel good. And I want to be able to discern what's for me and what's not for me, while still allowing those people to be who they are and be the love that they are able to be to the people that they're able to be it to. And you know what I'm saying? So I'm sure I'm still gonna have situations like that, but I hope it not to be such a major aspect of my growing and my expansion. Um, and also the more that I take time with myself to get more confident in my own love, or my own acceptance, my own forgiveness, my own understanding, the less those situations will affect me and have that influence over me. So I might have more situations like that eventually, but they won't have the same effect, I think. But in order to get there, I do need a break from it to nurture and nourish myself. So yeah, so that's what so the process seems to be self-love, following heart's joys. Joy is major for me, and being faithful to what I enjoy and what feels good to me. And discernment on what that is. And yeah, so I think that's where I am growing. I don't even know how I got here. What was I trying to tell you? I don't know. Anyway, so oh yeah, I was talking about discernment because I can't take a lot of information from everybody. It seems like I can take specific forms of information from specific topics and from specific um creators or narrators or teachers. Sometimes I can't take all their teachings, but just one topic that they're teaching, etc., etc. I've been following this page on Instagram called the Monroe Institute. I don't know if anybody else has heard about them, but I never really paid attention much to what they do there. So on YouTube this week, they came on my YouTube feed. And I was like, wait, I follow these people on Instagram. What's going on here? I saw a lot of first of all, those short videos about people at their experiences there. And I was like, wait, people can go to retreats there. And then I started seeing longer videos about what people experience there. So apparently they have retreats that help you access um other dimensions is kind of like how they describe it, but I think they were saying dimensions, not really such a great word for it because they really careful with hierarchies and stuff like that, but different experiences of consciousness or awareness, right? And I was like, wow, they have retreats. That might be kind of cool to go to. So I have never attended any kind of training thing or retreats, but I find that now I'm a little bit more interested in checking out some things. So I'm really also very discerning with other people's energy and how, depending on other people's energies for my own evolution, could actually limit it, right? I want to do and develop myself as much as I can in my connection to my divine self and my divine team, my angels, my guides, my soul. I want to be able to hear them clearly or more clearer and engage with them in a harmonious relationship that's fun and enjoyable for all aspects involved. And so I want to be able to recognize things within myself that need healing, or I want them to show me what needs healing and help me understand how to heal it and what to do and how to move through it. So I really want to focus on my own self-development. But I do believe that there are aspects or stages in the process where you do need teachers in human form that have been where you have been, that can teach you how to connect with yourself more, or different aspects of yourself more. Or maybe they can help you clear a large blockage that can make that communication clearer, and stuff like that. So I'm still trying to figure out like where that fits into my process and how to make sure it doesn't stop my progress or my evolution, right? To self. So anyway, so I do find that I'm more interested now in retreats. So I was looking at the Monroe Institute. I think there's something called the Gateway Experience that might be cool, which is like a beginner experience. I think they have for like a week, and it's like 2,500. But I also am really interested. I think the Monroe Institute is a little more scientific with it. So they try to take all aspects of religion. They might have some spiritual aspects, but they try to kind of do it as a research, as a study, more or less. So I like that aspect of it. But then I'm also interested in Ann Tucker's retreats and her programs, which also run about 2,500, depending on what you want to do. Because I find that I what is the word I'm looking for? Aligned with angel teachings and angel healings. I like those things. I'm drawn to them. So that has some religious connotation, I guess, but I don't think angels have a religion, really. They help everyone. I think everyone has an angel, at least one guardian angel. I think we have more. I think there's a lot everywhere helping us along our way. And I think we call them angels, but they could be guides or teachers or just supportive aspects of consciousness that want us to progress and enjoy doing that. Yeah, so, but yeah, I like the angel aspect, because my name is Malika, and Malika means angel. So I feel aligned with it. I really like it. So I was looking at her stuff, and if I ever have the resources to do that, I do want to check out her programs. I feel like these two programs could assist me in my progression in a gentle but accelerated way. So gentle acceleration is what I like. I don't like it to be overwhelming, but doesn't mean that it has to be small. Gentle acceleration can be fast, but it just has to be integrated in a way that each stage is digestible. You know what I mean? So anyway, so yeah, those are the two programs. I think Ann's can assist with a lot of healing for me that I probably can't see yet. So the healings are coming. I think they're coming at a pace that's fine as I'm going along this progress, this path, right? But I think her process can probably accelerated. I think she does an 11-week process. And then after you do that one, there's another one she does that helps you understand your gifts. Yeah. But if I had to do hers, I'd want to do, there's three that I want to do. There's one that was more primarily, she said, focused on your feminine aspect and healing that. Another one that's focused more on your masculine aspect and healing that. And the blending and the balancing of the two. She said you can just do one of those because both of them deal with your masculine and feminine energy. But if you do both of them, it's probably more beneficial. I've seen people say, oh, she's just saying that to get money. Maybe, I don't know, but from what I've seen her interviews and stuff, I don't think so. I think, of course, we need money to survive, and she does think of her own survival. She wouldn't be human if she didn't. But, she has said you can do one and then start the one that has to do with your soul gifts. But she would recommend the two to a more, I think, complete healing, a deeper cleansing, maybe. A deeper clearing. I don't know. And then, so you do those two or one of those, and then you can do the third one or the second one, depending which one is for you. That reveals your soul gifts, and I would like to try that. I do think I'll get there eventually on my own, and it would be great to learn how to do that by myself. Because I mean, she has developed these things by herself, and if she's able to do it, then anyone can do it for themselves. But I think the process took her quite some time, and because she has gone through the process and has figured out what works, what doesn't work with her guides and her angels, it can be of benefit to others, so they don't have to take as long to get there. But taking as long to get there has its own lessons. So, but I do feel aligned with that program or her programs. And then with the Monroe Institute, I think I want to check that out because I think it can teach basic foundations on how to connect with your divine aspects easier. Like I think they teach methods on how to get into that flow state and stuff like that. I think I was saying the other day, like I don't know how I get into these states that allow for the messaging to come through. They do come through, and I'm usually in a more relaxed state, a more state of trusting. It does feel somewhat random, like I'm getting better at getting there, but I'm still not sure how I get the responses to come during that time. Because I can be in that state and nothing comes, or I could not be in that. I could be in that state and nothing comes today, but the next day I'm in it and a lot of things come. And I don't know like how that plays out. Also getting to that state sometimes because anxieties and fears play into the day. Sometimes they're more difficult for me to come in. I have no idea how I would just be at peace about something when like 2 weeks before, the whole 2 weeks I've been like stressing and stressing and stressing about it. And then I'll just come to this conclusion and be like, I can't figure it out. It'll be figured out for itself. And I just rest it and know that it'll be figured out and I just move on. I don't know. I don't know how I come to that. I wish I could do it more often because once I get there, things kind of flow. But so I think the Monroe Institute would be good in teaching how to do that. They use sound as well to do that, which is, I think, a good tool that we have access to that can help with this process, which can actually affect our life outcomes, our life experiences. I think if we're able to get to that phase, and allow guidance to come in and allow connection with our divine self for what to do, how to do, or with our guides, or what's best here when we're not sure. Allow for that communication, then that could change a lot. That can change your confidence, you know, your belief systems, your knowing, your trusting, and by extension, you're able to create the reality you want, I think. That's why I think their program, that's why I want to check out their program. So those two programs. But I will say that I follow my intuition into what is aligned for me in order to move forward. So if I don't have the resources to attend either of those programs, I am not worried about my progression because I feel like my evolution, I am invested in my evolution of self, and my guides and angels are more than capable in helping me get there in a way that's best for me. So if they don't think those programs are good for me, I don't think it'll open up for me to attend them, and something that's better suited will, you know? So yeah. But so anyway, I was looking at the Monroe Institute. So I can't take all the videos. So some of them are very monotonous. But the other night I couldn't sleep and I was looking at this video. It's really strange how it got into the video, which is really cool how I think the communication is with the divine aspects in yourself. So earlier this week, I talked to you guys about this Blu-ray thing that keeps coming. You're a Blu-ray, you're a Blu-ray, you're a Blu-ray. I've Googled it, I've looked into it and stuff like that. I do think I am a Blu-ray. I think it's possible everybody is. I don't ascribe to like special stuff, right? But anyway, based on my life experience and the description of what the Blu-rays are, I do feel very much aligned with the Blu-rays that are here on Earth now. So I think I am a Blu-ray. But I also feel very much aligned with the Rainbow Tribes. I think they call them, not the Rainbow Children. I think the Rainbow Children are here now and they're younger than me. But I do believe they were talking about the Rainbow Tribes, and I may be a Blu-ray aspect of the Rainbow Tribe. I do love rainbows, I think unnaturally so. Like I'm obsessed with them. So anyways, I understood that like a few months ago. I think I mentioned it in one of the podcasts, the Blu-ray. And I've been asking, do you guys know anything about Blu-rays? Because ever so often I'll get a little nudge about the Blu-rays, right? So yeah, last week, I heard in my head, not in my ears. I heard it in my head and I saw the words divine blue light. Divine blue light. It didn't say Blu-ray, it said divine blue light. And I remember going, what about the divine blue light? And I got two things. It said, you are the divine blue light. And then I also heard you come from the divine blue light. This was a dream. So it doesn't always make sense. And I usually, if I have a dream that I forget, or I have a dream that doesn't make sense in the moment, I don't stress about it. I always say, okay, it'll make sense when it needs to. I don't understand it now. I know it's important that I remember it, but I am like, whatever I'm supposed to understand from this will come when it's supposed to come. I do ask though, my guides and angels, hey, can you clarify what this means? And whenever that understanding comes, it comes. It usually comes. It doesn't come a lot of times the same day, but maybe in a few days or a few weeks or a few months. So, yeah, so I didn't like stress about it or whatever. So then a few days later, the Monroe Institute starts coming up on my feed. I'm like, oh, what about this? Like, this is like, I follow them. Oh, I didn't know they have retreats. Oh, they have videos of recordings of people that were in access with their guides and were channeling their guides or their teachers, messages that they was sending, right? So they have recordings of it. They're old recordings. A lot of it is monotonous and stuff. But this one recording was labeled I am the blue light. I was like, that's weird because I just had that dream about divine blue light. And it didn't say blue ray specific. I thought it was weird. It didn't say blue ray. It said blue light, like the change of word. And I was like, okay, maybe this has something to do with the blue rays. Let me see. So I listened. It's like 55 minutes long, and some of it's monotonous. But the first time I tried to listen to it, was during the day and I got distracted with something I saw listening to. Then I tried to listen to it again in the evening. I was like, oh, it's so long, and boy, I just like turned it off. But then at night I couldn't sleep. I couldn't find anything to look at. And I was like, oh, let me start this from the beginning again. And I did, and I listened to the whole thing. And let me tell you guys, this is going to be a long podcast, by the way, of me just talking. But the things that were shared in that video, I think was specific to help me understand kind of like what's going on in this reality that I'm in, where I fit into the reality and and where I may have to go. So anyway, this lady is talking and she starts off talking about what she's experiencing. So she's, I guess, connected with her guides and she says like she's seeing like numbers, right? So they're showing her like, she said, all of a sudden the number 22 seems very important. And then she says, I am the blue light, right? And she says, but it's like, it's slower than how I normally feel, like the rhythm of it, the pulse of it. But it feels like it's more than I was before. And then she goes back and she's like, oh, I'm 18. 18 feels like I can feel my limbs. She's giving these numbers, but she has no like explanation for it, right? And she talks about different numbers. 21 feels like um like everything's warmer and I'm vibrating faster, but I'm more solid. I can't explain it and stuff like that, right? So after that's her talking what she was experiencing, then like her guides come in now and they're talking and the tone is different. It's the same voice, it's her voice, but how she talks is different. The pace that she's talking, her it's deeper, a little bit deeper than her natural tone. So you can tell like it's her guides talking. So her guides come in and they say, okay, we wanted her to experience the different phases so that she can understand the difference in levels. And they say the next time we come, um we will talk about the different dimensions or levels. So time passed, whatever they say, and the next day, whatever, until they connect again with the guide. And apparently she drew a diagram for them explaining it. So the guide is asking, did you get the diagram? Do you understand it? Would you like to discuss it? And the moderator's like, yes, I would like to discuss it. And the guy is like, great, I really want to get into it and explain it and stuff like that. We don't see what the diagram is. So I don't know what it looks like. But if essentially what he starts off explaining is the stages of human development first. They say everything is in sevens, right? All the stages, all the levels are in sevens. And when the guy talks, he's like, we don't want to say below or above, but there's no other word to describe it in your language than that. But for lack of a better word, we'll talk about below and above, but it's really not like that. And then he says, everything's in sevens, right? But he also says, I can only see what I can see based on the stage I am. So I can see where you guys are and what you have to go through, because I've gone through those stages and I can see what's below me, which is not the right word. And then I can see a little bit ahead of me. And I know when I get to certain levels, I won't be here again. I won't be able to communicate with her the same way again, blah, 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 right? So he says he's going to describe the 7 stages of the human consciousness. He doesn't even want to say like physical being, but not even of consciousness. Okay. He says he wants to describe the 7 stages of consciousness for the human physicality. And then at a certain stage, you can no longer, if you want to progress, be physical. But again, everything is free choice, and you can, if you want to continue to be physical, continue in the levels that you're in. Most likely you won't want to be because you'd want to progress, right? Anyway, so after he talks about the 7 stages of the human development, then he talks about the 7 stages of, for lack of a better word, this dimension, and where the human development stage is in the 7 stages of this dimension. Okay, so it gets confusing. I don't have the diagram they had to show you. I don't know how to create the diagram, but I do understand it in a way that I can. And I think I want to show you the video so that if you want to look at it, you can. Hold on, let me see if I can find it on YouTube. So I can share it with you guys and you can go look at it yourself. It's a little bit confusing. But whatever. If you're interested in it, you can go look at it. So, history. I have it in my watch later group. Attains, or when a consciousness attains. Say that it came to her. Okay. So now, y'all, I had to make I don't know if I'm having issues in my eyes. I mean, I wear glasses, as you guys know. Some days it's so blurry. Oh my God. And some days I'm fine. So I had to make my screens bigger. Everything was so small. Okay, how to share my screen. Okay, this is the screen I want to share. Share. Okay, so this is it. This is the YouTube video. Also, she indicated that it was for me. So this is a YouTube video. It's called Reality Exposed: Levels and Planes of Existence, Miranon and Robert Monroe, Explorer Tape 6. And it's from the Monroe Institute. So the page on YouTube is called the Monroe Institute. And this is the video, Reality Exposed: Levels and Planes of Existence, Miranon and Robert Monroe, Explorer Tape 6. And so this is the video I'm talking about. Let me play a little bit of it. The following session, you can see what happened without. Let me pass on. This level has a very soothing color to it. Jesus, and that is, as Liana described to you last week, a blue. It allows the being or the consciousness to make a smooth transition. But this level is also a level that is somewhat difficult for the consciousness because. Okay, so that's the video. I stopped sharing it, but you guys can go check it out on YouTube. It can be a little boring and tedious, but so much information is there. I'm so glad that my guides directed me to it. And even though I couldn't process it the first 2 times, the third time I was able to get it. So essentially, she's describing the guide that's her guide is called Miranon, which is, I think it's a he. Okay. But I don't think they have genders there, so I don't want to say that. I don't know. But he was describing the first stage, which is this is human consciousness, by the way, the 7 levels of the human consciousness. So the first one he says is blue. And at that stage, you're coming into your first, and you can have a lot of lifetimes in that stage until you actually master it, until you actually get it, right? But that's when the consciousness is coming into or getting used to being a human consciousness, a human being, and that level of consciousness. And she says it can be difficult, but it's the stage where you get used to being this new form, this new consciousness. And that's because we learn after there are different levels of consciousness, different dimensions, right? And each consciousness has its 7 as well. And I think the same would apply as they go through it. But anyway, so the first stage is blue. The second stage, she says it's red, and that's where you're getting into managing the senses that you have, being aware of the senses of the hearing, the feeling, the emotions, the taste, the touch, the visual, all your different senses. I think you get used to managing them, immersed in them in the second level of the human consciousness. So the first level is blue, and you're getting used to just being this human consciousness. Second level, you're getting used to your awarenesses, your senses. And the third level, she says it's yellow, and that has to do with your power, your confidence in being, I guess, in being human and managing your senses. Maybe. She doesn't say that. That's my own interpretation. The fourth level is your heart level, your love level, and they call this color rose colored. It's not green like how the chakras are, but the chakras definitely relate to this, I think. Right? Your root chakra, your grounding, your sacral chakra, your sensuality, your creativity, your senses, your solar plexus chakra, yellow, and it's like your confidence, your power. Then your heart chakra, your love. And so the fourth level of the human experience of consciousness is love. It's your heart, love. This is the 4D that they keep talking about. We say 3D, 4D, right? So this is it, love. It's love. And this is, she describes the bridge where your guides that are in another dimension, not in human consciousness, but they have surpassed human consciousness now. And and I'll talk about those other dimensions after. There's a higher dimensions can actually descend if needed to communicate with you and give the guidance. To hear this guidance, though, we can only get it in a relaxed state. But I'll talk more about that after. So yeah, so the fourth stage is love. I suspect that this is the stage humanity and is heading into as a consciousness together. Of course, we'll experience it individually in order to then feel it as a collective. It feels like this is the stage that I'm at, this love understanding, the self-love and expanding the love to others, this acceptance, it's not judgmental, this forgiveness, this understanding of the self. Apparently, we are really here to understand ourselves. This is how the greater understands itself. It really is self-focused, and that self-focus then expands to others, but it has to be internal focus in order for it to manifest externally. It's also cool. So yeah, so the fourth level, which is rose colored, is the heart level. It is the bridge with other aspects of our consciousness in other dimensions to help guide us. Love is. She clearly talks about the other three levels of the human consciousness. The blue being the red awareness of your senses, and the yellow confidence and power aspects not being stages for ascension, that those stages can only go horizontal. They do not allow for upward movement. But she doesn't like saying upward. The guide, because he says it's not the right word for it. But basically they said human ascension begins at the fourth level, the love level. Love is the bridge, y'all. Self-love. They don't describe self-love, and I think because they're at a different consciousness, they have already experienced it. And I think they see things in a more, in a higher perspective view. So they can describe it, but it does sound a little more scientific when they describe it. But going through it and being in it, and myself, I think all of us, many of us are going through this. This love experience is so beautiful. And it does begin with self-love. It begins there, honoring yourself, loving yourself, doing what brings you joy. Taking time to hear yourself, forgive yourself, accept yourself. It's the only way you can show up truly as yourself, to find what's aligned with you. Anyway, that's the fourth level. And it's where the higher beings that are there to guide, help, and can reach us. That love is a bridge. They can descend as we begin to ascend, and they can meet us there. And communications can start to begin to occur. This is why I think it was that QHHT hypnosis that I did. I was talking about it. I did it once. And Jesus came in with that unconditional love that I had never experienced before. I think that opened up a communication, because love is the bridge. Love is the bridge. Love is the bridge for the communication and for the flow of ideas to guide us in the way that we need to go to have the best experience for us. Love is the bridge. That's cool. So they can meet us there. We move up there and they come down there, and that's where communication can begin. I think the communication progresses depending on how much love we can embody and experience. That means it's how much we can love ourselves and integrate it. So that's why I think I can have more clarity with my guides and my angels and my divine aspects. The more I'm able to be love to myself. Love is the vibration, y'all. Anyway, they say the fifth level is healing, and that color is green. And they say that's an ascending. You can also ascend or descend there. So I guess you can choose to help others with your healing and descend with that, the guides or the angels, or you can choose to ascend and move forward. I think to me as well, Not sure. Remember, this is just this one video I listened to, and I've been thinking about it ever since. I just like been obsessed with it. They just say it's a healing level. That's what they say. And you can choose to ascend or descend there. It's like an elevator level, that fifth level. So I think we get more connection with our guides there. They can connect even more clearly with us there. In order to get there, of course, we have to go through the level of love, but they all say that all levels are somehow touching and connected. Um, and I think that's where remembrance comes in, and we don't have fully, because I'm like, okay, I think I'm in this love level, but I don't feel, I think I still need work on my confidence and my root chakra, but I must have done this work prior to be able to get to this love level in this lifetime, right? So I can't remember, and that makes me feel less secure. But now that I know that these levels exist, I would have had to completed that, accomplished it, been solid in it, anchored it in order to get to the love level. So I just need to relax in my confidence of knowing things can be completed, and relax in knowing that my root chakra is fine. It can keep me secure and do what it needs to do. Anyway, I digress. So yeah, so healing, and then after healing, that's the fifth level. The sixth level, they said, is where you see how all the levels before are connected. I think it's a perspective of how it's all like harmonized below, and they don't like the word below, but the all previous levels, how it all is connected. They call it like that's kind of like your third eye, where you can see how everything kind of works together. And then they say the seventh level is where you can see, I believe where you can see some of the levels above that are to come. And then after the seventh level, you would then have to go, or choose to, if you choose to, go into a different stage of consciousness where another seven levels will occur. For humans, they say you would have to leave your physicality behind in order to experience those other levels of consciousness. The physicality isn't needed there. So you have to decide if you want to continue in your physicality. You may want to have these experiences more physically, because you may enjoy it until you're ready. Again, we all have free will until you're ready to, you've had all the experiences you want to have with this body. Or bodies, physicality, because it'd be different bodies, right? It's better in the lifetime, and progress to that other level. Okay. I'm going to play the video again because I feel like I muddled the sixth and seventh levels of the human experience, but I'll play that little part over again. But anyway, so those are the levels of the human consciousness, the human being, human being, being, being. I think this made a lot of sense for me too, because I think I came into this lifetime, with the love level. But I came into this lifetime with the love level among other people in a family, or surrounded by people that were still in their power level. So while I wasn't concerned with power, other people that wanted to feel powerful would do so by trying to diminish me, because I wasn't much of a force for power, because that's not what I was here for. I wasn't here for that. I was here to love and connect, and they were here for power. And so I was getting stamped on. And so my love got protected. The walls came up, and I just kept to myself and stayed away and isolated myself in a way. I would venture out a few times, but a lot of times, even when I did, it would still be about power. Maybe not initially, but eventually. I have I think two, I would say two, and maybe a third friendship that isn't about, it's not power oriented at all, that accept me as I am and I'm able to express as I need to and be the love that I can. But that experience really blocked my love. It really blocked what I was supposed to be here to be, which is what I found in the QHHT thing. I'm supposed to be love to others, to show others how to be love. All making sense. It's all making sense. I'm understanding myself so much more in the situation I came into. And these people are not wrong. They are on their own evolution, and their evolution was in power. But in order for their evolution to kind of start switching over, because the levels touch, they're not like segregated harshly. They touch, they would be someone that was love. But I didn't know. So I was drowning. I was drowning in all these power dynamics. And yeah, just these messages I was getting that I was nothing, that I wasn't valued, that yeah. And I internalized that. I internalized that. And although at the core of me didn't believe it, a lot of me did. And so I would expect people to not see my value and to not love me. And then this would play out, that expectation would be sent back. This, again, the infinity symbol, this energy I was given, I was given back to me, and it was what it was. So now that I know I can be loved, I think, I pretty much know I can be loved to others without harming myself and putting myself in situations to be harmed, and discerning where I want to be and how I'm able to express that love. But I'm still in process. I'm still in process. I'm still figuring it out, guys. So all my words aren't correct. And I don't know, even if explaining it messes it up. I just don't know. But and I don't have to be loved. I could be loved in a minute and that could be enough. It doesn't mean I have to stay in their energy very long, because I know that their energy isn't healthy for me. And eventually that energy would just try to conquer me or take away my sovereignty and my self-expression, or get into a power struggle, because I can see what they are and where they're at in their level. I think that's one of my gifts. I think I can see it. And I don't have to entertain it. What I can do when I don't have to stay long enough for it to even get to that level. I can be loving that. I can be like, no, I gotta go. I hope you guys are great. And move along into where it feels good to be in a longer space, where it's not a battle, where it's not a power struggle, where others are in their love, in their love expression. So, um, yeah, 46 years of now understanding this. 46 years. 46 years, but I think I have another 105 years to go. I think I'm going to live to 150, y'all. I'm going to be looking young. I'm going to be healthy. I'm going to be able to move this physicality and enjoy all the physical aspects of my being on this beautiful earth and the bounty and abundance that it is. Yeah. But anyway, I digress. So yeah, then they break down the other dimensions. So those are the 7 levels of the human dimension. But then they start with the different levels of consciousness. They start with the plant level. So they say the plant level is one dimension, and that of course has 7 sections, right? So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 dimensions. After the plant level, when you go through the 7 dimensions, you get to the animal level. So from 1 to 7 is plants, right? 1 to 7 is plants. 8 to 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 8 to 14 is animals, right? And each one will be divided just as the human consciousness divided into 7 sections. So you'd have the aspect of being, and then just understanding being in your senses, your confidence in those senses. Maybe no, I don't know how that works for plants. How are plants love and stuff? Maybe with, I don't know. Maybe they are, I don't know. Anyway, so 1 to 7 is plants. Level 1 to 7 is plants. 8 to 14 is animals. And 9 to 21, no, not that. 15 to 21 is human, right? It's 15 to 21 is human. When you get to level 22, you're no longer in a human consciousness. I think you start into the spiritual or the spirit beings. So 22 to 28 will be a different level. 29 to 35. Oh, this is it. Few more dimensions also. Okay. So 1 to 7 is plants, so it's level 1. Sorry about that, myself. 1 to 7 is plants, that's level 1. 8 to 15 is animals. 8 to 14 is animals, that's level 2. Humans are 15 to 21, that's level 3. That's why we call 3D, right? Then 4D, they said it's a transitional level. It's where we go when we die. And they said, so that's 22 to 28. 22 to 28, that's 4D. That's where we go, where we die. That's where the higher beings come to communicate with us in our human form, to our human form. They have to come down to the 4D so they can communicate with us. So that's 4D. 5D is 29 to 35. Beings that are 5D can go down to 4D to communicate with us. I'm not sure if they can communicate with us from 5D. Maybe they can, but it's a little bit difficult. I don't know. 6D is 36 to 42. And then 7D, I think that's where they said, a lot of the guides hang out in the 5D level. I think 6D might be ascended masters, or 7D might be, I don't know. 6D, I believe, is 36 to 42. And then 7D is 43 to 49. When you get out of the 49 level, the next level is a new dimension. And the guy didn't know what to say what that dimension was gonna be, because he was I think he was in the 46th level himself. So he could come down if he wanted to 5D and 4D to help guide his human. But the level he was on was 46, which was within the 7D level. But he said once he got to 49, he would not be able to communicate with her anymore. He said that he could only start communicating with her when she was at her heart level, which would be level 4 in the human levels of consciousness, but in the total levels of consciousness in this dimension or universe, this universe with the 7 levels, would begin at level 18. Level 18, if you count in the plants and the animals and the humans, would be level 4 for the human. So if the human started at 15 and the heart level for the humans is the 4th level, so 15, 16, 17, 18, level 18, that's the heart level, is where the guides start communicating with humans. So in the whole span of thing, level 18 is where the guides are able to start communicating with us. It's level 4 in the human level, but level 18 in the whole span of things. That's where the love is. Love is the bridge for that communication to start coming in. You have to be in a relaxed state. To do so, it's said that creation is in, and I love this, it's like tension and release, tension and relax, contract, expand and contract, expand and contract, which is what breathing is, in and out, which is how also I think we grow. We have periods of tenseness and then periods of relaxation. Tenseness lets us know what we don't want to be, and then we release what we don't want in order to catch ourselves and take in what we do want. That's how I understand it. Anyway, he said humanity right now is in a tension state, and that's why a lot of guides are starting to come in. We're getting a lot of help now to help us release it because it's a very tight state. I think this is where we know what we don't want to be in order to release it so we can start being what we want to be. I think I realized this in my own process because again, as within, so without, as below, so above, right? In my own process, because he was saying that the guy listening was in the moderator. He was in a tension state and that his guides couldn't get messages into him, that he needed to relax in order for the messages to come in. So what is the relaxed state? I can say when I am in a relaxed state, I'm not worried about the future. I think it's taken care of. I feel safe. I feel like everything's gonna work out. I don't know how, but I feel like it. I feel comforted. I feel loved. I feel like I'm so loved. Everything will work out for me. Um, the universe loves me. It'll help me. It'll guide me. And in those states, those relaxed states, is when the guys are able to get the messages in. They can't get the messages when we're tense, but we do need to be tense in order to get to the relaxed stage, I think. It has to be this tension and release. They say this is how creation occurs. We have to have that tension and release in order to create. That's how creation occurs. It's just how it is. So when I'm tense, I'm dealing with my anxiety, with my fears. I do need to see what they are. I need to know them in order to relax and transmute them. So both states are needed. I think I understand it to be. This is my own understanding. This is not what the being said. What the being said was that creation occurs in tension and relaxation, that we get messages when we're in the relaxed state. I think that's the flow state. That's the flow of ease. That's a quiet. That's the inner knowing, the inner peace, the centeredness, the knowing that everything works out for us, even if we can't see it. That's the trust state, the faith state, but the tension is needed to build the faith. It's all a part of it. Now I've talked so long about this whole video and what it showed me, and we haven't even read. We haven't even read. I'm curious to see what the reading will be today because I never know exactly what it's going to be and how it's going to relate to my insights, but a lot of times it does relate, so I am curious to see. But give me a second, let me get something to drink, and then we'll continue. What's Okay, I'm back. Okay, so I did want to we can't listen to the whole video because it'll take all day, but I did want to go over the part of the video where they talk about the 4th level for the human, and then the part of the video where they talk about quickly the 5th, 6th, and 7th level, because I think I mixed those up. I'm not sure. So I'm going to open it up really quick and see if I can. Oh, it's there still. I just have to choose to share it. Okay, hold on. Share, share, share. Okay. Sorry, Sherry.
This level, it's
Let's see.
an arc-like pattern around the waveform, so that it is possible to have points on any level where you are in contact with other levels. And they are all united. If you will notice, there is nothing separate or distinct at any point on any of these levels. They all touch the other levels. The third level transverses or goes through the middle of the first two levels.
Okay, wait. So she's at the third. We want to get to the fourth level. It's
Development of the mind and expansion of the mind. There comes a need for more and more power. And in this way, power can be gained over other forms of existence on that plane, but primarily only on that plane. Again, this level is a horizontal level. It does not descend or ascend.
That's the third level, the power.
The fourth level of the seven is the one that both Liana and I are on, and it is one reason we can have contact with each other.
Fourth level.
It is the vertical plane. It is the beginning of the ascension and descension. This plane can either ascend or descend, and therefore we can meet. The color for this plane is a rose color. It is a lighter color. It is a plane that brings greater unity through all the planes. The primary quality of this plane is what you call love, is an openness to realities beyond this reality, beyond whatever plane you happen to be on. And it opens the door to expansion into other realities.
Fourth level. Fourth level. Okay.
There's a lot of tension
Let me see what she said.
or peace that comes from the development of this awareness of the love consciousness. And it is primarily a descending level. You become more acutely aware of the realities of the levels beneath you.
Yeah.
The levels beneath you is not the right word. I do not know the right word. It does not come. The space is very difficult to describe because the levels are not in space, as you know.
Okay.
Peace.
Let's see.
You are in this plane
Let's see.
of the levels yet to be attained.
Great.
Of the reality that it is entering. It is a different reality from the reality of which it has been a part. Primarily a level that gives you an understanding, like the rain. The rain would be on the fifth level. And as it falls, it understands, it has an awareness of the reality that it is in.
Great. Fifth level is healing.
I do not know the right word. It does not come.
I'm sorry,
The
guys.
space is very difficult to describe because the levels are not in space as you know it. But for lack of a better word, beneath will have to do. It is primarily a level that gives you an understanding, like the rain. The rain would be on the 5th level. And as it falls, it understands, it has an awareness of the reality that it is entering. It is a different reality from the reality of which it has been a part. The 6th level is primarily an ascending reality. It allows you to have greater understanding of the levels yet to be attained.
Oh, 6 levels yet to be attained.
And in this reality, you can transcend the plane upon which you are currently existing. You are in this plane. Yes. You are in the 5th and 6th plane, but you are working primarily from the 6th plane. You have an awareness of the 5th plane also.
I want to say with the 5th
The
plane.
green, it is.
Okay, hold on. I missed that part. Hold on.
The 5th level is very interesting. The 5th and 6th levels are closely tied together. There are very few consciousnesses that are on 5th or 6th level. For example, when I transcend the 46th level, I will be in level 47 and 48. I will not be just in 47. They are very complementary levels. The color for the 5th level is primarily green. It is what you call your healing light. And it works very closely with the rose light in level 4. The two, again, are interrelated. But in the 5th level, there is a tranquility, a sense of inner peace that comes from the development of this awareness of the love consciousness. And it is primarily a descending level.
Okay, let's go back to the 6th and 7th.
That unites everything within the level. And it also has the ability to cross into other levels. Since the light is pulsing, at which you understand and have a complete awareness of all that is in your plane of 6th plane is a purple, but it is a different kind of purple. That is the 6th plane. The 7th plane is the full circle at which you understand and have a complete awareness of all that is in your plane of reality, a complete and total understanding, not only of yourself, but of all the levels that you touch. If you will notice, the 7th level touches or crosses every other level of existence. It has the harmonizing influence. It is the level that unites everything within the level. And it also has the ability to cross into other levels. Since the light is pulsing, since the light radiates, it touches all the levels above it. Again, space is not right, but the level.
Okay, so she was talking about, so the 5th level is the level of healing, of tranquility, that tranquility comes from understanding the love in level 4. And so that's the 5th level, healing. The 6th level is where you understand the levels above, but they don't like using above or below, but that's the best way to describe it, the levels above. And then the 7th level is the harmonizing level, is the circle around all the levels where you understand and you touch all of the existence that you in that 7th ring. It's the harmonizing ones. And she says in the 7th level, you can actually go to other dimensions because you're pulsing. I don't think you could stay in them, but you can go and come back because you still need to have your physicality. But you can experience it. So, and then she said, she said that the 5th and 6th kind of are blended together. Like you usually you're in 5th and 6th at the same time. So yeah, so I just thought that was a really cool understanding of how the universe works. Um, if you want to check out the video, go check it out and get your own understanding of it because I'm still processing and integrating. But I'm really excited about it. Like ever since I listened to the video, I've been like understanding things so much more and understanding where I'm at. So I do think I'm at the love level, but I do think again, this is an integrated process. So yeah, like I still probably have some power stuff I'm working out as well. Probably not as much as other people, and probably more than some people that are way progressed in their love level. Because I know I'm not fully integrated yet with the love level. I'm still in process of this loving of myself, this clearing, the seeing of myself, all aspects of myself. And we've had many lives, all those multidimensionality um aspects of myself that I'm not aware of to even love or understand. Maybe my soul does. Maybe my soul understands it, and I don't need to do it on a human level. Who knows? But I am seeing aspects of it. It's to see how we develop. Because I'm saying, like, I have seen past lifetimes in dreams where my development was safety. That's my focus. It wasn't marriage or love or kids, it was finding safety and being safe. Then I had a dream where I was like being with the tribe, that togetherness, that unity in like loving that and being fearful of predators and stuff like that. Like different levels of awareness, of consciousness. Completely not the level of consciousness I have now. So I do think our levels of consciousness does increase along our lifetimes because it was like showing me the focus of different lifetimes. It was not the same focus like I have now. It was not the sensitivities that I had now. And it was fine. It wasn't even bad. It was just like that's what that life was about. um, so yeah, I hope you check it out. This is what I've been processing for the past, I say 3 days. I think I saw it Monday or Tuesday. I'm processing. I'm just so grateful for how the information comes. I think more information is coming in as well as to what I am to be, what will bring me the most joy to do. Remember, I was like, I don't know, where are my heart's joys? Like, what do I want to learn? You know? And then so there was I found the video that by Tara and all that said there was a space between your ego joys and your heart joys coming in, and that was an emptiness that occurs as you clear and before the heart joys come. And to get to my I just have to connect with my inner child. So I've been working on that. What does my inner child want to do for fun? Fun, joy, love, laughter, connection, but loving connection, genuine connection, authentic connection, being myself as I am, So I don't know. Anyways, we're gonna see what the book have to say today because I talk a lot. I'm curious to see if it relates to anything at all that I was talking about this morning. I'm so sorry for this long episode, y'all. I'm so sorry. I want to see where in the video so I can tell you all. Anyway, look in the video for where I bring up the book. Okay, a brief comparative of internal alchemies. A primary task of Egyptian alchemy was taught by the Magdalene. As taught by the Magdalene is to strengthen the car body. This is done through states of high ecstasy, since ecstasy and bliss strengthen the car. So ecstasy and bliss by this book strengthen the car. I think ecstasy and bliss comes by loving ourselves and doing things that we love to do. The love is the bridge. Okay. There are two primary parts that can be taken in this regard. For those in sacred relationship, exploring the sex magic of Isis, the ecstasy naturally arises during lovemaking. But for those engaged in the solitary path and the alchemies of Horus, the ecstasy is self-generated. For those in both the solitary and dyadic path, I believe this section will prove invaluable by placing the manuscript within the context of other alchemical systems. I also feel that those working with other systems of internal alchemy may find the information below helpful in placing their own practices in relation to the manuscript. Wait, hold on. I feel like I read it, but I don't understand what it says. Okay, and that was a personal note from Tom. So we're going to begin. This section explores the comparisons between three of the four major alchemical systems: tantric, yoga, Taoism, and Tibetan Buddhist Tantra. Oh, tantric, yoga, Taoism, and Tibetan Buddhist Tantra. Okay. Egyptian alchemy was presented in the previous chapter, and readers will undoubtedly recognize some common elements between the Egyptian system and the other three lineages discussed in this section. Oh, it's three. I thought tantric was separate from yoga. It's tantric yoga, Taoism, and Tibetan Buddhist Tantra. Okay. Those already familiar with these systems of alchemy have no doubt recognized the unusual position taken by the manuscript in regards to the sex act. As a student of comparative alchemies and mystical traditions, this was one of the first things that struck me about the Magdalene's material. If I may summarize these differences, I would say that the system introduced by the Magdalene is archetypally female-based. According to the Magdalene, the female holds within her nature the secret of creation. Magdalene goes on to mention here how she was trained in the alchemies of Horus and how to raise the serpents through meditative powers. But in the presence of Yeshua, and especially during their lovemaking, the alchemies naturally presented themselves. In other words, they engaged without her having to do anything. She speaks at great length about how the female must feel safe and appreciated in relationship with her beloved. Then and only then can the alchemy of transformation she calls the sex magic of Isis occur. If these elements, safety and appreciation, are in place within the relationship, the female can let go and allow the feminine mysteries to express themselves through her. When this occurs during lovemaking, there's often a shuddering in the female. If she allows the shaking to proceed, it will take her deeper within the mysteries. If the male has trained himself to rest within the vibrational energies released by his partner, then both he and his beloved can strengthen their car bodies, one of the primary goals of the system. The central place of the female in the alchemical system is strikingly different from any other alchemical streams. In many regards, the main alchemical systems of the world are male biased. For instance, in Taoist literature, there are fewer written instructions for females than for males. Even though Taoism is considered by some to be matrilineal, in practice, at least within the last few hundred years, most of the emphasis has been upon male practitioners. There were, no doubt, very developed female sages in China, but their presence is not generally represented in Taoist alchemical treatises, with some notable exceptions. In fact, Taoist practice in dual cultivation, the sex practice of Taoism, in previous centuries viewed women as mere containers of qi. These unscrupulous practitioners would engage in the sex act solely for the purpose of extracting the female's excess qi, with little regard for her comfort or safety. In Tibetan Buddhism, although the feminine principle is deeply honored, in practice, women are often relegated to lesser places of power and importance. One of the great Buddhist sattvas of Tibetan Buddhism is Tara, a woman who historically lived in the general area of Tibet. When she attained illumination, legend has it that a group of lamas set out to find the new light, noting that an enlightened being had entered the world. Upon tracking the light to her village, they were dismayed to discover that she was a woman. They reputedly said to her, "Now that you have attained illumination, you can be reborn as a man." To which she replied, "I will remain forever in the form of a female." To this day, she resides as a feminine presence in a subtle realm of being the Tibetans call the Sambodhaya, the realm of pure light and sound. She's known as the swift protectress and is a powerful and beneficent being. Yet, that attitude of inherent male superiority shows up again and again in not only certain aspects of the Tibetan Buddhism, but through much of Buddhism in general. A cursory look at the history of Christianity reveals patriarchal attempts at the disenfranchisement of women within the church and within its historical documents. In the Dark Ages, the church formulated the Nicene Council in an attempt to edit the numerous gospels and sacred writings of the early church. Under the orders of the Roman ruler Constantine, the council was charged with choosing which of the many scriptures would become part of the New Testament. The result was that the council threw out many sacred texts of the time, choosing only those that furthered their own ends. The early mystical version of the Christians had been shaped into the territorial and political desires of the church and the state. And in the process, many of the writings honoring the feminine were declared a heresy, and the Holy Church of Rome began its long campaign to disempower women. During the Middle Ages, and especially during the Holy Inquisition, the church routinely burned women suspected of being witches. Often, these women were just herbalists and healers. Indeed, any woman standing up to the patriarchal power of the church risked a terrible death. The disenfranchisement of women by the church continues to this day, although it's certainly more subtle than being the Middle Ages. I believe that religion and culture are an intimately woven tapestry. The threads of religious belief pass into the culture, and the attitudes of a culture get sewn into the fabric of its religion. They are in many ways inseparable. So too, the mystical traditions and alchemical practices born out of religious insight, which are supposed to be above earthly issues, are invariably affected by cultural assumptions as well. Thus, one can see the threads of male dominance in the very fabric of mystical and alchemical systems throughout the world. As a document purporting an impart purporting to impart an alchemical system, the manuscript is unique in that its methods are steeped in the feminine mysteries. Perhaps this is because it shares roots with the Islamic cults of ancient Egypt. Some of the alchemical presuppositions of the manuscript are in alignment with the major alchemical schools or lineages of the world. However, some of its views differ quite radically from other alchemical systems. For example, the manuscript holds the relationship between sexual partners in high regard. The sex act is used to activate certain alchemies within the initiates, but the emotional relationship between the male and female is viewed as the sacred foundation of these alchemies. For another, the female is seen as holding within her nature certain alchemical keys for transformation. These keys cannot be forced, but are accessed only when there is safety and love in a relationship. This approach makes the manuscript unique within other alchemical systems. Believing as I do in the power of synergy, I feel that those undertaking the personal experiments with the Magdalene material would do well to become aware of the other major alchemical schools accessible at this time. In other words, place the manuscript in context to other internally based alchemical systems. For this reason, I have presented a brief survey of 3 other major alchemical streams in regards to the sexual practices of internal alchemy. I present this in hopes that it will provide interested readers with a broader context to understand the implications of the manuscript and to better utilize the practices to their benefit. Okay, they're going to start with tantric yoga, so I'm going to read some of that. Whew, y'all. We're going to start. Tantric yoga. Tantric yoga is an ancient system of personal transformation that uses sexual energies to develop spiritual illumination. Its roots reach back thousands of years into India's past, and its goals are nothing short of a divine transformation. Under the spell of Tantra, a man becomes transformed into a god, while his consort is likewise transformed into a goddess. Tantra calls the divine into this world through temporary embodiment in its tantrikas, those who practice Tantra. And it is this potent joining of the divine and the human worlds that make this type of yoga so powerful. This kind of yoga demands arduous training and is fraught with danger. Unless the energies of sex are mastered appropriately, one will not attain the promised liberation of consciousness. One will instead be deluded by the heat of one's own passions. Indeed, there are ancient cautions regarding this path of yoga. It is not suitable for everyone. Only those who can enter the fires of sexual passion with sobriety and detachment should attempt it. This type of tantra is a far cry from the weekend tantric workshops so popular in the West. Tantra is a term that means energy practices, and it can be applied either to sexual practice or, as we will see in the section on Buddhist alchemy, it can refer to the energy practices of consciousness itself, as in meditation. Samadhi. The central piece critical to most alchemical yogas, like Tantra, is the attainment of samadhi. By alchemical yogas, I mean those yogic systems that work with the transformation of consciousness through alchemical means. Not all yogas do this. For instance, tantric yoga is an alchemical system in the subtle energies of sex, in that the subtle energies of sex are transformed through alchemical meditation. Raja Yoga, on the other hand, is a philosophical pursuit that may lead to a type of enlightenment, but does not impart alchemical methods along the way. The attainment of samadhi or inner attention allows the yogi or yogini to explore his or her inner worlds. During successful meditation practice, the mind turns away from the physical senses, One focuses instead upon a consciousness, chitta itself. There are innumerable ways to attain samadhi, some of them involving concentration, mantras, words of power, yantras, visual geometries, and pranayama, breath control, to name a few. Does he describe what samadhi is? I think it's supposed to be like a bliss. There are varying degrees of samadhi depending upon the depth and the phenomena that arise within the mind. In some states of samadhi, for instance, there is simply a deep sense of calm and inner peace. The yogi or yogini in such meditative states might also see lights in his or her inner mind or experience other sensory displays, seemingly without stimulation. In other words, arising spontaneously from the mind. In deeper states of samadhi, the sense of a separate self may altogether disappear and be replaced by an awareness of pure being, sat, without thought. As the yogi or yogini enters these deeper states of samadhi, there's often an arising of bliss or ecstasy, since the nature of consciousness is bliss, ananda. Kambaka and the suspension of breathing. As the yogi or yogini enters these deeper samadhis, there is a spontaneous retention of breath called a kumbhaka. In this fascinating interplay between body and mind, the breath is suspended. And as long as the yogi stays in the deeper states of samadhi, there's no need to breathe. When the awareness of the yogi shifts out of samadhi, however, into an awareness of physical senses, the body spontaneously takes a breath. There are well-documented cases of samadhis lasting several hours or days with its attendant suspension of breath. The phenomenon of kumbhaka is remarkably similar to the effects of Taoist stillness practices in which the practitioner enters a timeless state of mind and the breath becomes very shallow or stops altogether. When we get to the section on Taoism, I will talk about a personally striking experience with a stillness practice, so I won't go into it here. But I will say that every one of the alchemical streams has its own methods of entering stillness of mind. This is due to the simple fact that without stillness of mind, many inner alchemical reactions simply will not take place. The practice of meditation and entering into samadhi bring with them many developments of psyche. One of these is a greater sensitivity to and awareness of subtle energies. The development of sensitivity is crucial for the alchemist to develop, since one cannot contain in the alchemical container of awareness what one is aware of, what one is unaware of. So you can't contain what you're unaware of. Alterations in time and space. Next, we come to a common element experienced by all alchemists, regardless of the stream in which they are practicing, the alteration of perceived time and space. While in samadhi, yogis and yoginis experience a powerful alteration in their sense of both time and space. I believe this is due to radical shifts in brain function. Meditative states greatly increase alpha and or theta activity. In these relaxed brain states, time seems more fluid and space often takes on strange attributes. What might last an hour in linear time may be experienced as lasting for eons or for just a moment. Yogis also report space being affected. They might experience themselves as very large, like the size of the galaxy, or very small, like the size of an atom. They might feel as if they are spinning or floating. These types of phenomena are, by the way, reported by practitioners of all the alchemical streams. I think I'm going to stop there for today. Because the next section is pretty long, the trigunas. So we'll start the trigunas. And I think sexual bliss in the next podcast. I'm sorry this podcast was more talking than reading. Really. But it's what came out today. Remember, I don't I don't prep it. I just let come what comes to see what comes. So I'm gonna look back at it too. I don't remember all what I talk about. Anyway, guys, I hope you have a great day. I hope the podcast was helpful to you today. I hope it explained some things to you or help clarify some things as it did for me when I found that video. Check out the video. Let me know what you guys think. I'll try to put the link as well in the comments in the comment section, I think, or in the notes. I don't know. I'll put a link somewhere so you can check out the video. I hope you have a great day. I hope you know you are loved, that you are loved, and you take time with yourself because that's the way. Love is the way it looks like. It looks like. Okay, okay. All right, bye.